Hey, Tanner here, the Ancestral Modern Man, with a cup of coffee and some notes I came up with on some nutritional do's and don'ts that I want to share with you today. So let's dive right in. First, do go shopping, stock your fridge and pantry with good stuff, do your online orders, and be prepared. Don't keep off-menu stuff and crap in the house to tempt yourself and make your discipline have to work even harder than it would already need to. Do plan out 3 to 5 meals that you can easily execute, that you know that you like, that'll be fulfilling and satiating. If you're in the Ancestral Reset program, you can go to the Ancestral Meal Builder documents and resources in the nutrition folder. Don't be a cherry picker. I've found that working with people, especially those that are armed with just enough knowledge to be dangerous, is that they do a lot of reading on different nutritional routines and regimens, and what they like to do is, rather than going all in on something and experiencing the benefits and knowing if it actually works, what they really do is they cherry pick the most appealing aspects from these different strategies and tactics and try to hodgepodge this thing together, not really getting down to the heart of the things that are really the core of these philosophies like ancestral nutrition. And frankly, a lot of it is avoidance of eliminating the things that are really the worst offenders in what they're currently doing. So go all in. If you're going to do this ancestral reset, then go all in for 12 weeks and find out how good you can really look, feel, and perform. And then, if you want to deviate after that, go for it. But at least find out, if you're going to approach some new way of doing things, you have to go all in so you can really experience the benefits and go through it. So don't be a cherry picker. Do be okay with simple, consistent repetition. Repetition is one of the greatest things that you can leverage anytime you're going through some type of period of transition, personal growth, or change. And it keeps things simple. It eliminates the anxiety and stress with thinking and choice. And it allows you to just focus on building a good foundation. You can always add variety later. And when it comes to nutrition, I would say learn to appreciate quality ingredients and simple flavors. So then when you want to add a little more seasoning or a little more variety, you can do that, but you can always go back to the foundation that you know is going to work for you, which is empowering. It gives you a sense of self-confidence, and especially if you don't have a lot of skills in the kitchen, it makes approaching this easy. Which then goes to my next don't, which is don't think that your cooking and meal prep needs to be gourmet, or that you need to use these really fancy ingredients. Don't let ingredients and cooking still be a barrier to entry, because it's totally unnecessary. When I first approached ancestral nutrition, I ate grass-fed ground meat for lunch and dinner every single meal for 3 months straight, and I had incredible results. It was one of the things that hooked me on it. Now, yeah, it was boring, but for someone that didn't have a big budget or culinary skills or any fancy tools in the kitchen, it was a great way for me to approach it and know that I was going to be satisfied, enjoy what I was eating, and be full, and be energized. So for me, that was an easy way to approach it, and I could always then get fancy after that. Do take on the mindset of being a metaphorical hunter. So our ancestors were hunters primarily, and I want you to hunt, but like our ancestors, I want you to hunt for high quality fuel sources, fat, things that are going to satiate you, fuel you, give you long, consistent energy that doesn't put you on a blood sugar roller coaster, and that also doesn't stimulate insulin release, which is going to make you fat and lethargic, and also going to make your kidneys absorb salt. Just a few things to throw out there at you. And then also hunt for nutrients. You want nutrient density, quality fuel density, and nutrient density. That's what your ancestors were hunting for when they were hunting, bison and elk on the grasslands, or wherever your ancestors are from. That's the approach I want you to take, and let that be the foundation of your grocery buying. Your hunting trips to the store. Do take the lead when plans are being made socially. If you're trying to stick to a certain nutrition regimen, if you're trying to stick to a certain diet and you want to do something social, great, but don't leave those choices, don't put those choices in the hands of people that don't really care what they're eating and aren't trying to stimulate some change or transition. Now, connected to that is don't go tell everyone about your new diet and post all about it and everything like that. All that's going to do is solicit unwanted advice and unwanted commentary that is going to make things more difficult for you and just add an element of conversation that you don't need. You know what you're trying to do. You know what you're trying to accomplish. You don't need to talk about that with anyone else. And you don't need to justify it or explain it. Like, just focus on yourself. Don't worry about broadcasting it to everyone else, because unfortunately you're not gonna be met with feedback of support and something that's adding to your experience. Okay, do prepare food in advance when you're traveling or for work or stuff like that. Look, if you stick to an ancestral menu and you're hunting for dense, high quality fuel sources and nutrients, this should be easy. Once you have that metabolic flexibility, going 16, 20 hours without eating should be really easy. I mean, that's like an afterthought for me now. It's not even anything I worry about. So if you're going to work or if you're traveling today, at most all you need to do is pack one meal for yourself. Keep it simple, hunt for nutrients and dense fat fuel sources, and you're good. You don't need to pack a bunch of stuff. Keep it simple. Don't make plans or go places or put yourself in compromising positions until you've gotten the hang of ancestral nutrition and transition. Like, don't put yourself in the situations that are going to test your skill, discipline, understanding, and willpower until they're super solid, until if we use a building metaphor, until that foundation, the concrete of that foundation has set and it's solid. And related to that, another don't hang out with toxic people. Don't hang out with people that hold you back. Look, it's hard enough to get over our own shit, let alone taking on someone else's garbage. So, remove toxic elements from your diet and also toxic elements from your social circle. All right. Do get outside your comfort zone with your nutrition a little bit. Once you've gotten the basics down, it can't always be about how it tastes right off the bat, because tastes also evolve. If you eat a lot of processed food and a lot of really sweet stuff with processed sugar, high fructose corn syrup, you have literally altered your taste buds, and you're gonna have to break that addiction to sugar and allow your palate to reset itself to something that appreciates salt and meat and natural sugars like fruit and honey a little bit more, something that appreciates a little earthier flavors. So your taste will evolve as you break that addiction to sugar, but you also have to keep in mind that everything you're eating doesn't need to be this ecstasy of flavor. I mean, as someone that has, I post a lot of stuff about liver, and people always are like, "Ugh, that's gross" and everything. And I get it. I have an earthier palate. I really enjoy it, but I would eat it anyway because I know how good it is for me. And so my question, back to you, if you're saying that, "Oh, well, I don't like that stuff because it doesn't taste good." All right, well, do you like being fat, feeling unfit, lethargic, and unmotivated? No. So if you have to eat something that you don't absolutely love the way it tastes, but you can change how you feel, how you look, and what your mental acuity is, is that really that big of a deal? It's let's adult a little bit here, and then don't weigh yourself every day and get super attached to some of the quantitative points of reference if you've done body composition scans and stuff like that, because that stuff is not linear. What you really want to focus on, the big do here, is to focus on the process, habits, and really where the progress is the improvement in your decision making. So, and then how consistent that decision making is. So stacking days, we got a good day in, great. Stack another day on top of it, great. Focus on stacking another day on top of it, great. Focus on stacking yet another day on top of that. Don't be focused on what the scale says, between days 2 and 3, why does that matter? If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and your decision making is improving and you're being more consistent, all that other stuff is an inevitable side effect. So put that aside, divorce yourself from that, and use the mental energy and willpower you have, and discipline and focus and intention and even imagination that you have to focus on better decision making and more consistent decision making. Hope these do's and don'ts have been helpful. Peace. If you appreciate the content and the message, I'd appreciate a like, subscribe, share with your friends and enemies, comment. I'll respond. Love to get your feedback, answer questions. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Ancestral Modern Man.